I'm reading an 1897 article or part of an article on the Eisteddfod, and it says the Eisteddfod, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, is one of the most ancient institutions of the Welsh nation. It may have received its inspiration from a more remote nation than the Celtic Cymry, Greece, Rome, or Syracuse, possibly, but in its present form from the Welsh only. The etymological meaning of the word Eisteddfod fod is a sitting, a session, a synod, a convention, and the more modern significant definition, a literary and musical festival. The word, so difficult to most persons of pronunciation, is a compound word composed of two words, eisted, to sit, and fod, to be, which render in the compound meaning means a sitting to be. Its primitive meaning was a sitting or synod composed of bards and minstrels. The so-called Gorsedd of the bards is usually regarded as one of the relics of the Druidic period and is mentioned in the Welsh triads as the highest assembly of the Isle of Britain. This is a strange ceremony, yet not more so than what may be seen within the halls of any secret order. At the Logan Stone, the arc, the arch druid stands. 12 stones and 12 bards at stations in a circle first chant the Gorsedd prayer, which is feebly expressed in English as follows: Grant, O God, thy protection, and in protection, strength, and in strength, understanding, and in understanding, knowledge, and in knowledge, knowledge of the just, and in knowledge of the just, the love of it, and in the love of all existence, and in the love of all existence, the love of God, God and all goodness. There is a sacredness about it that is coordinate with the religious pathos of the Welsh life and habits. The ritual is completed in the hour devoted to this mystic rife, and then the sacred circle is broken. This language that has surprised linguists and served to connect the remote ages to this by its strange construction has, unlike its immediate sister tongue, survived in its primitive purity. It is the language of song and poetry, and the institutions of the Welsh will survive so long as their wonderful speech exists. The institutions of any nation are known much in traditions more or less correct, and quite the greater weight of good things to come from the remote East. Then come chronicles more certain yet fallible. Tradition gives the Welsh nation four great Eisteddfods, one in the 6th century, one in the 7th, one in the 9th, and one in the 11th. It is quite certain that they were more frequent than tradition has recorded. Else time must have erased them forever, or they could not have survived 2 centuries apart. The Eisteddfod was given its Welsh characteristics and named from the assemblages of bards for competition in national minstrelsy. Synods or convenings of bards were known to the Romans 200 years BC, by which name the Gauls and other Celtic people designated their minstrels. Language has perhaps uh, more effect on a people than religion. I don't know if I'd agree with that, but anyway. And the strong, perfect speech of the Welsh has given the people characteristics akin to the philological contour. The motto, Dan Noad Du Al Dangrenif, under the protection of God and his peace, the Central Wales Bardic Eisteddfod uh, motto is a sample of linguistic perfection and combined devotional conception. And there's a picture of the Bardic chair. So that motto in place by the Druids and the Druidic bards even before the time of Christ. Anyway, the purpose largely of the Eisteddfods in the US and other countries foreign to Wales has been to preserve a perfect mother tongue and to encourage literature and art among all nationalities without reference to tongue or creed. The pride of a Welshman in his language is remarkable. A celebrated philologist has said of it, quote, the language, or rather the structure of sentences and the phraseology, exhibits a certain stateliness or even grandiloquence. Characteristic indeed. Unquote. The language, while national supremacy is virtually gone, still survives, the oldest spoken language now used in literature and business. There is a triune relation in the Eisteddfod, in the triads, in the language, and in the sacred sign, each suggestive of the three letters of the Bardic alphabet, Colbrun, which forms the name God. Another of the mottos of the five chairs of the Bardic province, God and all that is good, again, like most of the proverbs and mottos of the people, accord to virtue and supreme sovereignty, the mastery of men and things. No, right there, the Cymric language lives. National physical strength may be subdued, but it is impossible to tarnish the pure institutions of a devoted people. The language of Cambria lives. Through something history records, has suppressed her autonomy of government for the time being. Sophocles, the second of the great trilogy of Greek tragic artists, says, quote, no ordinance of man shall override the settled laws of nature and of God. Not written these in the pages of a book, nor were they framed today nor yesterday. We know not whence they are, but this we know, that they from all eternity have been and shall to all eternity endure. So that's interesting. The Welsh language, or the Colburn or Cymric, has survived for so long because I think I read and or listened to videos by Alan Wilson and from other people the how England tried to suppress and erase that language, but I believe it still exists. But they removed it from schools, fired teachers that taught it or spoke it, and apparently a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, why would they do that? You know, so crazy, crazy stuff.